How old were you?
7, 8.
What?
Something like this.
You play Counter-Strike with 7?
I was 7 or 8 years old.
You were hanging around in a public internet cafe playing Counter-Strike, Half-Life and all the shit?
Yeah.
With 7?
That's Bulgaria, baby.
They are young. They earn a lot of money. And they are famous all around the globe for playing a game. This is the official podcast of a professional esports team. These are the ESPORTS ROCSTARS. Two guys sitting in ROCCAT's podcast cave in Hamburg, in Germany, wearing the ROCCAT Can Pro, recording a podcast. Welcome, Tien.
Hello.
My name is Fred. And it's getting serious. Last week of the regular season of Spring Split 2018, last week before the playoffs, the players have to focus completely on the upcoming matches, so we decided to invite someone who will not enter the battle in person, but is also responsible for the success of the team. This is ROCCAT's team manager. Welcome, Tomislav Mihailov. You know him as flyy.
Hello. Good morning. You made me get up early for this, so better make it good today.
Yeah. It's 9:30 for everyone who doesn't know.
9:30 for gamers is early, bro.
Yeah, it's not your feel good time, right?
No, definitely not.
But
you know it.
You had a meeting at 6.
Yeah, I had a call at 6, but that doesn't count.
Don't put it on us.
Yeah, you had a call at an appointment at 6, then you took a nap, and now you are with us. So you are really living the life of an esports rock star. I'm really impressed.
Also, he's the smartest guy in the room, apparently. Because if you can listen to his voice, it's crystal clear.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how you solved that?
I'm using a rocket hand aimo. You know, it's close to the mind to use the 7.1 surround headset with the good microphone and everything. When you're
so the microphone is the same, but technically speaking, the sound card is in the headset.
Yeah.
So this distortion and everything is gone.
Yeah. So dear listeners, if you
at the end, I'm not that smart. Then.
So if dear listeners, if you intend to do a podcast ever, the ROCCAT Can IMO is a really good choice because you literally only need that headset and nothing damn else. All right, flyy, let's start with our 10 quick question. Are you ready?
Yep, go for it.
What's your favorite food and drink?
Right now would be Korean. I would say bibimbap. Drink would be Cola Zero.
Did you learn the name finally?
Yeah, I finally could pronounce it a little bit better than compared to...
Can you say it again?
Bibimbap.
Ooh.
Bibimbap.
Yes.
I think it's
bap. Yeah, but come on. Give me some break.
Yeah. Looking forward to the hate mails from the Korean guys. flyy, what's your favorite League of Legends champion?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Right now would be Jackson Veigar.
2 champions.
Yeah, okay. One Veigar. I'm gonna be disgusting.
Oh, he's leaking strats again, man.
No.
flyy, you can morph into one League of Legends champion in real life. Which one do you choose and why?
Xin Zhao. I need the abs. I'm a little bit overweight lately, so I need the abs. Lately. Okay, shut that.
Next question. What's your favorite game of all time?
Ooh, am I supposed to say League of Legends? No. It will be Counter-Strike 1.6.
Yeah, you're true.
Counter-Strike 1.6, yeah. It's where it all started, you know?
Yeah, we will get to that.
Yeah, of course. We will talk about it, be sure. What's your favorite music?
Favorite music? Pop, house. Like basically everything that's on the radio, like Jam FM and so on.
Pop.
Yeah.
Everything that's on the radio? No, come on.
Yeah, he's a radio guy, man.
You listen
to... Yeah, I'm actually that guy. Like, I listen to the mainstream shit.
He just listens to pop. It's not even house.
A professional esports guy listens to radio like our grandmothers and grandfathers.
No,
Interesting.
he listens to the songs.
No. Wait. I listen to the songs that are on the radio. I listen to the radio every time that we're in the shuttle or in the car. And I spend a lot of time in the car in the shuttle.
It's okay, man.
Driving around, so there you listen to radio.
What do you really love about being a professional esports man?
The competition. Like I'm a really, really competitive person. So the whole thrill of actually competing, even though I'm not on stage with the guys playing the game itself, like the whole thrill that you're part of that whole team, and everything depends on winning or losing at the end. Like the whole thrill, that's what the feeling itself. That's what I like the most, being part of esports and sports in general, because we're already a sport.
Be honest, what do you really hate about your job?
That's a good question. Sometimes the hours, because sometimes you don't have the working hours as usual jobs and everything. When there's work to be done, there's work to be done. So
So it's not a 9 to 5 job.
Everyone is in sync. Freddy said the same exactly.
I didn't. Sorry, but I didn't hear the podcast with Freddy, so I'm not copy pasting.
Yeah,
I'm not pasted, I promise.
Okay, we will see in the question 9.
He's so busy he doesn't even have time to listen to the latest podcast episode.
He
Wow.
listens to the pop songs. Lady Gaga.
She hasn't had a song in a while. That doesn't count. Okay, let's go to question 9. I'm curious now when you said it.
Yeah. Fly, when you're preparing for a match, do you have any rituals?
I'm definitely not going to the toilet right before the match as Freddy does. Any rituals? Sometimes. I don't do it every single time, but sometimes I have the... how do you say it? I want to be with the same clothes, do the same thing that I've done when we had a win, the latest, yeah.
Really? Are you one of these guys who's wearing the same socks for 2 weeks because he won
Come
with
on,
them?
we change only on Christmas. No. It's the same shirt or the same underwear that I had like 2 weeks before when we won versus Fnatic, for example, or something like this. Laundry and clean before you make the joke.
No, you can't wash them because you wash the luck out of them.
Too bad then. Too bad. But no, like we had me and Freddy for the whole last year. This year it's not that much, even though we still have it a little bit. Is the seating in the shuttle when we're going. Like we believe that if we keep the same seating that we have, me and Freddy, we're gonna win, and so on.
Okay, so last time we lost when I came, so I can sit in the back now.
No, you're still stuck. You're still stuck with me.
Oh my god, it's so crowded.
Yeah, but everything has to be exactly like the last time. Exactly.
I said sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's not the ritual. Keep going. He said after the last win against Fnatic. When was that? 2013?
No, last year. Last year, summer split.
Okay.
A very important question. You are stranded on a lonely island. What are your 3 items you take with you?
Man.
Don't think about it too long.
I have no freaking clue right now, to be honest. 3 items that when I'm stranded on an item. On an island. Yeah.
No, you have to decide. We take you now. We hijack you now from the Rocket Gaming House in Berlin, and we will send you to a lonely island right now. What do you take with you?
Water. Yeah, I have nothing here. Water.
Oh my god, you will die.
Water filter. Water filter. A good lighter without the gas, the ones that you just make the sparks to fire up the fire, and a good Swiss knife.
That was question 9, by the way.
Yeah, and
This was question
the
9.
last of the quick questions and the most important comes now. Fly, which key is best for Flash, D or F?
F, of course.
That's why you bronze, man. That's why
There's
you
not-
bronze,
no,
man.
there's not even
Oh my
discussion.
God.
you know?
You're the only one with EQ. Who takes a Flash?
Yeah,
on
and,
F.
and then Hikyo is our best consistent
he's the
performing player
two-time.
on the team. So
Only because of that.
No, he's the 2-time Fly.
he's a 2-time. Yeah, but that doesn't count anymore.
And
It
you
does-
bronze,
it's
man.
Not, it's not part of. I'm bronze by a choice.
To see the secret strats you can use in LCS, huh?
Yep.
Fly, we want to know more about
No.
you. By the way, did I pronounce your name the right way at the beginning?
I have no idea
Tomislav
anymore, to be honest. Like
Mihailov?
I barely. No. What I mean is, even I can't pronounce
What?
it normal anymore. Yeah, it's been so long that I actually use my whole name Tomislav. That it's weird. Like when I try to pronounce it, even right now in the podcast, I try to pronounce it in English. You know.
Okay, try to do it in Bulgarian, please.
Tomislav.
Tomislav?
Tomislav.
And the
basically.
surname?
Tomislav Mikhail.
Mikhail. Tomislav
My
Mikhail.
surname I
Yeah,
can.
it used to sound better, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's definitely like even when I go home, some of the stuff right now. I've been more than 10 years now outside of my country. I go home for a little bit, and even when I talk with my friends, most of them are right now in the UK. So a lot of our talks mix up between Bulgarian and English. So it's become a habit.
So how many years you've been in Hamburg?
In Hamburg,
In Germany. And Germany.
Officially whole thing in Cologne we were more than half
Just in total.
a year in Cologne and with the season, and over here 4 or 5 years, not counting the months that we were at home. So
And you still don't speak
I
German.
understand quite some of it. You can't hide your conversation.
You don't
Yeah, you
speak.
can hide your conversations from me, but I don't speak it back. No.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you can.
Can you say something in German?
Links, rechts.
Oh my God.
Zwiebel.
No, like an actual
Zwiebel.
sentence.
No.
So who speaks better German, you or
Oh,
Oscar?
definitely Norskeren. Like he's not fluent, but quite close to it. Like there's not even comparison between the two.
You already told us, or we already know that you are from Bulgaria. Are you from a small village, or are you from a town?
I'm from
where
a
you from?
town. Used to be like the fourth, fifth biggest city. I have no idea how big it is right now as a comparison to the other cities. It's called Ruse. It's basically on the border with Romania, right on the next to the bridge to Romania, basically.
You talk a bit about it as if you haven't been there for about 100 years.
It's like I go for last year. I went back there for 2 weeks or something in total for the whole year. I've been over here the whole off season building that beautiful lineup, beautiful people. No, that lineup of beautiful people is the correct way to say it.
And the beautiful apartment.
And the beautiful new apartment, which hopefully we're gonna see really soon in a video. Not by UTN.
We will talk about that later. When is the train going to Berlin?
The train to Berlin?
Yeah, it's one and a half hour, right?
1.5 hour, yes.
If I leave now, I will be at the end of the podcast. I will be.
You can ask
Berlin.
Lucas.
Yeah.
He's coming every week with that train and bus.
Fly, let's talk about you in deep. How did you become part of the world of professional esports?
You're bringing me.
From all the beginning.
From the very beginning.
I will chill now for 55 minutes. You go.
Start with your birth.
You're bringing me way back. That's what 15 years plus.
Okay, let's start with how did you get into gaming?
Yeah.
2000 and 2003. Even earlier. Basically, when we moved, like my parents and my grandparents had a house in a village, and they moved fully to the city. My grandparents, and their apartment was basically you exit the entrance of the whole building, the apartment building, and there's an internet cafe right on the entrance itself, like the door next to the entrance. So they opened the internet cafes, one of the first ones where you didn't even have the time constraints or anything. Just the operator of the cafe tells you, yeah, your time is up, and you need to stand up, and you're then, but I need 2 more minutes, back in those days. And back then we just started playing Counter-Strike, Warcraft. Warcraft was just about to go out and so on. But Counter-Strike, Half-Life, and those we would gather like 10 kids, just sit on the computers and jump in on that match in Half-Life and so on. Then we
How old were you?
7, 8, something like this. Like,
What?
I didn't
play Counter-Strike with 7?
No, I was 7 or 8 years old.
Yes, that's what
You were hanging around in a public internet cafe playing Counter-Strike, Half-Life and all the shit with 7?
Yeah, that's Bulgaria, baby.
I don't have any question right now anymore.
That's the German coming out of Fred.
There's a German coming out.
Man,
keep the German stranded. Keep him on a leash over there. But no, like started playing over there for fun back then. Limited times because computers weren't that big that year. Like it's 1997 we're talking about. So slowly the internet cafes started being popular. Switched from game to game. I don't even remember what games we played. Like we played a S-ton of games basically. Back then, just single players, multiplayers, everything that we could get. That was the modern thing of the day for kids. Hey, we have computers. We need to play on those games. We've played a S-ton of Mario even back then. Slowly started becoming more and more keen on Counter-Strike. All my friends, everyone was playing Counter-Strike 1.6 back then. Started making teams into it. Back then there were big teams in Bulgaria. Some of them even competed on the Balkans. I had no idea of the international scene. So started playing with friends. No one had PC at home, so we were all forced in the internet cafes back then. So we would gather 10 people, like 2 teams and stuff, arrange the times instead of scrimming online like we do right now. We would all 10 go to the internet cafe, sit in the 2 corners of the internet cafe as far as possible from each other and just play 5-on-5 to practice for a tournament. And there was even one internet cafe later called Godzilla, where the PCs, they had basically 12 PCs and they were just back to back. So we would even like talk super quiet to each other to be able to practice against each other at the end. So it was fun times because everyone was at the same place. You would flame each other like for the fun and everything. Like the moment you start winning, you in Counter-Strike you start shouting like crazy. So it was pretty fun and competitive times.
Did you leave a lot of money there? Probably,
yeah. Like, yeah. But you had back then when you had the only like the operator telling you to stand up, not with a program cutting your time off when you finish, is basically you would agree to clean the toilet or the internet cafe, etc. And he gives you 3 hours. We were the small kids running around nonstop around the internet cafe. So then. He would be lazy and just give you an hour. He owns the place, so he would just tells you, clean up this, mop or vacuum clean the place, etc. I'm gonna give you a free hour. You can play for an hour, and so on. So,
really?
Yep. It was really.
That's such a romantic story. It's like in a Disney movie. So the poor young kid has to clean the toilet to play his favorite game.
It becomes even worse after that, though. Like, my parents are really strict, and they viewed esports and gaming, like competitive and so on, as not as an addiction, but more of as a gambling in a way. So I was quite often forbidden to even go compete, practice with the teams, etc. I've gone secretly, like after school. Hey, they kept me at school. I go to the internet cafe and practice. That's already in 2003, 2004, where we had already sponsors as a team, in a way that I went to the one of the internet cafes. I spoke with them, arranged for us. We wear a shirt with their name, etc., and we practice for free in the internet cafe. And there was a company for like traveling tourists, like buses and so on. They'd arrange our transports when we go to events. So I would find all those excuses, extra hours at school or something else to actually go and practice with the team and go and play.
So you were still playing?
Yeah. I kept playing until 2006, 2007, something like this.
And how good was the team?
Ooh, pretty bad. Like, looking at it, right?
Pretty bad, and you still got sponsors.
Yeah, because you know how much I talk, and it's my local city, so...
So they paid you for you to stop talking?
Basically, most probably. Like, come on, I was 13, 14 years old, and I was going to companies and... hey, we're the new thing in town. We go to tournaments. We're not that big. We're like 5th, 6th in Bulgaria at best. And so like we're still the second best in the city, or the best in the city, and such. Like, can we have free internet? And we represent you and everything. And looking it back right now from a company standpoint of view, is I get something new that is basically in your vicinity, especially for the internet cafes, and you get promotional tournaments. Even in a weak team, you got a free logo on the t-shirts and everything, just to give internet or to give a couple of hours to the kids to play. And you talk in the city between your friends to bring them over there to practice at that internet cafe, and so on and so on. So it was a pretty good deal for them. It wasn't only me to stop me talking, at the end.
Yeah. Okay, so keep going. So you guys played in the tournament?
Yeah, we played tournaments and everything, but I was... with my parents forbidding me, I couldn't practice as much. Plus, I wasn't as good as the others at Counter-Strike. And so on. So slowly, with that, talking about sponsors, arranging practices versus teams, arranging the tournaments, and so on, I slowly stepped down from playing and started managing them. It was more feasible and such. I started poking different German organizations to give us practice servers online. It was already those times, and so on. Then my talking and being pushy and such arranged me different, really small, like German organizations. We're talking Team Anthrax in 2005, 2006. They were like...
so you were 15, right?
Around 15, 16, or... yeah, something around that. I don't remember exact years anymore.
Okay, and then German team gave you a deal.
Yeah, but that German team was not even in the EPS. It was the amateur EPS, like basically the second league that you enter in EPS. And they had a Warcraft.
Can you explain EPS? I think most League of Legends kids don't know what EPS means.
It's ESL Pro Series, which is the German league by ESL, which is like with national championships and everything. And they had those in those days. They had the Intel Friday nights and everything, which some of the is basically what the LCS is right now, but it was online, played every week. You play in a championship league where you play every week, but you play online basically with your team. And back then the big game was Warcraft and Counter-Strike, the two big games, which everything evolved around basically.
Was not StarCraft also?
StarCraft was in Korea. Already? Like
really
like
Europe.
when Warcraft came out, everyone was in Warcraft, Warcraft 3. Like that was the big thing that everyone played and such, and especially like.
And I mean, in the end, League of Legends evolved out of Warcraft 3. So.
Basically, let's say that, yeah. Okay, let's agree on that.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
So I started pushing here and there. At the end, I found an American organization called Frag Dominant. And with them, I they had a little bit more money, basically, as an organization. We had an American Counter-Strike team, a small one, and others, and then Quake started becoming quite big at DreamHacks and others. So I looked for players that haven't been picked already by big teams that basically can be free.
So did you abandon your old Bulgarian team by that time already?
No, like cut off all ties with Bulgarian teams shortly after that. Like I had some.
Okay, so you got the deal for the Bulgarian teams and then you left.
Like we basically though those were small teams that wouldn't achieve that much. So the moment that we started losing a couple of tournaments in a row, everyone would split up. And I tried a couple of times, people would split up, not stick together and continue forward. So I basically started just managing and looking for gaming organization where I can start pushing the other players and look for players. That's where I started with international. I picked Sparty and Strengths. Sparty was an old school Quake player that came back to Quake back then, and Strengths was a completely new player that no one knew anything about, and so on. And both of them went instantly. The first event that they went to, one of them won it, and the other one went second. Sadly, Frag Dominant didn't have the full money support to continue supporting them long term, and one of them joined Fnatic. Sparty joined Fnatic and stayed there for 6-7 years, if memory serves me right. The other one, Strengths, shortly after joined Fnatic too, like a month or two later, and so on.
So how much were you involved in the Quake scene, or you just went with the next big thing?
I just got the players in, like send them to 2 LAN events, Strengths and Sparty. And,
so you got a job with 16 at the organization.
Yep. Yes, as manager for Europe, from my home basement, basically. And
so you probably got rejected by all the German
I don't remember,
because they thought like you're too young.
No, I think it's just the Frag Dominant. Like no big organization would even consider me. Like I was a stupid talkative kid that was just pushing and talking out of his A.
So you're the one who's in our DMs nowadays, talking like we have the best next big thing. You should sponsor
Basically,
us.
I was, Basically,
Really?
I was. Basically,
Really?
I was.
Okay, so your Quake time, what did that read up your Quake time?
That basically was my Quake time. Right after that, World of Warcraft came in. I was even talking with.
Okay, wait a second. Can I ask you something? Because you probably know
was
René.
Quake. I hadn't.
You know. Yeah.
The CEO of ROCCAT.
Yeah. So the founder and CEO of ROCCAT used to have a clan. Was it already MTW at that time?
It was already MTW. MTW was pretty big back then.
Okay, so they probably were one of the best clans for Quake, right? Back then?
I don't remember, to be honest. Like.
Okay. So did you get in contact with René back in the days?
I didn't.
MTW?
No. Like I might have talked with him, but it was such an insignificant talk or conversation, a short one, that neither of us actually remembers about it. So. Okay. Haven't really. Basically.
Okay. So, wait a second. Since you were back there at that time, how good was René really in Quake?
I have no idea. Don't really remember. Like I think his Quake.
He always says he was so good.
Yeah, but his Quake time is way before that. It's not that we're talking already 2005, 2006, 2007, something around that. And I don't think he was playing back then anymore. Like.
Oh, okay. So you already went into like the management.
Yeah. And World of Warcraft started being big. Like in Counter-Strike, I didn't have a chance because everyone was well established, strong, and so on back then. So I was too young, too small to actually have an access to managing such a team or building such a team, and so on. Plus, I don't think I had the brains for it back then. And
back then?
Yeah, I don't have either now. Like, as you can,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kidding too. I'm too smart.
One question. You were talking about your parents. Even when you started to earn money with that, your parents didn't take that serious.
I didn't start earning money.
He got money.
No, I didn't get money. Like, I got a mouse pad for all my work.
So when was the?
Well, let's get to that. There's so much to talk about.
Okay.
So World of Warcraft. Okay. Well, we don't
Go on.
World of Warcraft, frag dominant still days. I actually, the only thing that I remember from World of Warcraft, we were trying obviously to get a team. We had some American team and so on representing us only for one tournament in IEM Montreal, I believe it was. And after that, we lost the team to other organization, and I started talking with Ocelot, who was just exploding in World of Warcraft with his team and so on. And shortly after, he made a contact with Fnatic. Fnatic picked up too many people off of me over the time, but he went to Fnatic. That was the only interesting thing that I remember about World of Warcraft, actually meeting.
So Ocelot played for Fnatic?
Yeah, he did. He
Oh, really? I never knew that.
Was it Fnatic or SK? Was SK, I think.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Huh? So he got big in World of Warcraft? I didn't know, because I never played World of Warcraft. So Ocelot is a true World of Warcraft player?
Yeah. He was really good in World of Warcraft. I believe he was with SK. Fnatic or SK, I don't remember anymore even. I have to ask him later.
I can check. You just talk, I check.
Check it. Like he joined one of the two in World of Warcraft. They even, I think, went to top 3 placements in a couple of tournaments with his team. They were really freaking good back then in World of Warcraft compared to his League of Legends time. No, just kidding.
So was that PvP or PvE?
PvP.
I don't.
PvP.
Okay, I have no clue. That's why I'm asking. Keep going. I just checked.
It was IEM events where he went. It's one of the IEM events. Hafu, the female chick, won. I think she was with Fnatic US or something like this. Fnatic and SK, that was the organizations back then that mattered. Everything else was... Oh, MTW was pretty big also. Like, their Counter-Strike was quite impressive. Obviously, I have to say...
Yeah, I think MTW and SK were like arch rivals back in the days.
I would say the main rivals were Fnatic SK because of their Swedish CS lineups, you know. It was the Swedish people, and they would change people between each other non-stop, as they do until today, the Swedish teams. So yeah, after that I went student basically. No, after that, yeah. No, did I? I'm trying to remember, what was it?
Do you need help?
Yes, it's basically, I don't remember if I went student first and then went H2K. No, so I joined Lemon Dogs, the CS team, and we got basically Firte, Crystal, Nico. Most of them are right now either still playing a little bit CSGO, either being a coaches, etc. We had Get Right for one event, the DreamHack, and we actually won that event over SK. We got a small sponsorship from SteelSeries back then, and then we joined H2K with all that. Because we didn't have the money to support the whole team, we joined the H2K organization back then, which was still like quite a big name, a household name back then in Counter-Strike and other games, H2K. We joined H2K, I moved to the Netherlands as a student, and slowly, like, I started getting out of esports, the student life, you know, especially in the Netherlands. Started working in a nightclub, started playing poker and such, and slowly took a break basically of a year and a half out of esports. After that, I was playing a little bit games still from time to time. It wasn't that often, just having fun. Then League of Legends pre-beta, I'm not sure if it was alpha or beta already. That's 2009. I started playing and I'm like, okay, that game is cool. I hate MOBAs. Like, I literally hated Dota. In a way to play it and such. I didn't find it any fun. Too complicated for my simple mind, if you want to say it that way. Liked the League of Legends, and then out of the nothing, like Facebook was just booming, and I see 1 million people following League of Legends on Facebook, and I'm like, hell, that game is gonna be big. Should I go back to esports and see if I can make it competitive, like as a manager of a team? And started looking if there's already any tournaments for League of Legends, and the only ones were not even streamed or anything else. It was the only thing that you could do as a tournament was the ESL Go for Low, the weekly tournament, basically. And the only organization in League of Legends back then was SK. They were the first one to pick up a serious team. And they were first place. They were destroying everyone. And
So what season was that?
What season? That's not even season. That's 2009.
Or was it still beta?
It was right after beta. It's just, the game just got released to the public, basically. And was out of beta. And that was it, basically. And I got the second and the third team from all the Go for Lows, because they couldn't beat SK, so they were changing non-stop players. I looked at the players and I spoke with them, and I just merged the two teams, and the Furier was one of the teams. The other one was something IR, but I don't remember what was the exact name, and we did Furier. Basically, we merged the two names, we merged the two teams, and we started competing. We played pretty good. Then My Revenge picked a lineup, which eventually ended up being the Fnatic lineup, with Expeke, Shushi, Wet Dream, Lamia Zealot, and so on and so on. And there was one more team, the AAA lineup, the French one. So those four teams, we would compete who's going to be the best this week, who's going to be the best next week, and so on and so on. It was only those four teams competing here and there. And we started talking with Fnatic a little bit and with Dignitas, but I was a huge fanboy of Dignitas. For me, they were amazing organization. The logo was super cool. They had players that I admired and everything else. So we chose Dignitas at the end over Fnatic, and then Fnatic went on and picked up the My Revenge team. The first tournament actually was the first IEM had a show match for League of Legends with four teams. That was Dignitas, us. Sadly, I couldn't go attend that event in time. It was Dignitas, Fnatic, back then My Revenge, not Fnatic yet. Fnatic picked them right after the event. AAA and an SK. And it was the first tournament that SK lost, if I remember right. Fnatic, My Revenge, went over them and won the event. We placed fourth out of the four teams. We had
was that Cebit?
I think so. I believe so. It was one of the worlds, IEM worlds. Back then it was Cebit, so it makes sense. Yeah. It was
I think ROCCAT already sponsored AAA by that time, right?
Yeah, they did. Oh, the only noticeable thing that I did before like IEMs and those tournaments started happening is I was working already for Own3D, basically. Own3D was Own 3D, which was basically Twitch before Twitch. More like the two different platforms, but a lot of the staff from Own3D went to Twitch. So I was working for them, managing the streamers for League of Legends. Like, I even worked back then.
How did you get that job?
I just before I made the teams exactly and so on, I just saw that they had an opening for a job, and I applied because I had contacts already in League of Legends, and the streaming was just starting back then. It wasn't that big, and I get to work with Wicked. I got to work with some of the COG people, including Hotshot a little bit.
Saint Vicious, man. Best team ever.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I worked with Saint Vicious directly over there back then. I was more on the European side. My boss, Oleg Kogut, was on the American side mostly. So basically, really fast on that. On3D, COG, and me, we organized the first streamed event in League of Legends. In Europe at least. It was with American and European teams at the same time. High Pink, yeah. I don't even remember the teams. It was My Revenge again, SK, AAA, us, and someone else. It was a pretty cool event. That was even before we joined Dignitas. After that we joined Dignitas, everything like that happened. The lineup split like a month after the IEM. And I made another lineup that joined Navi. Sadly, I couldn't join Navi for different reasons. So I went with Absolute Legends. They just had lost their lineup to COG, basically, which was the Wicked, Snoopy, and those. So I built the lineup of Angush top lane, Maluno jungle, Extinct mid lane, Slepper and Zinnek bot lane. And we stuck with that lineup for quite a while. I think we stayed 1.5 2 years with the same lineup almost. We were always it was us, Moscow 5, and COG Europe basically, and Fnatic, the 4 teams competing. Fnatic back then had quite a bad time. They had 1 year that they were slumping before they picked up Sauce. After they picked up Sauce, they went back up. So basically it was the 3 of us mainly competing for the championships. Moscow 5 beating everyone, of course, especially at LAN events.
So that was like season 2, right?
That's season 1, season 2, yes, season 2.
Yeah, season 1 there was no Moscow 5.
Yeah.
I remember those times
two.
when Moscow 5 was so good, man.
Yep.
Counter jungling, nobody knew what it was before that, and they did it. It was so fun to watch.
To go short of that, like I took over operations on Absolute Legends. We're talking events, website, news coverage, everything Absolute Legends was, except the marketing and the money, was basically me working on it, and with a couple of really talented people back then. We see some of them in Kinguin and other companies today, so they're still there, those people. So basically we kept doing tournaments, events, news coverage, and so on with Absolute Legends. We even merged with the first Leaguepedia, the Gamepedia, and so on back then, which became the Absolute Legendspedia, and so on. And then we became good, but the money wasn't enough in Absolute Legends. We couldn't get sponsors and support fast enough, so we got a pretty good offer from Curse, which already had the American team, and they wanted the European team also. So
back in the days, just so people know, usually they had like a EU team and an A team.
Yeah.
Or like CLG had this, and I guess Curse now too.
Yeah. They did, and we had got a pretty good offer, which Curse basically bought us as the team and the Gamepedia thingy for themselves. We joined Curse as Curse Europe. We went to a couple of events, which we did quite big placements. The most noticeable one was shortly after we changed our bot lane. We got Credon and Super Ace, and we were the first team in Europe to actually beat Moscow 5 at the LAN event, which was the Paris, what was Tales of the Lane in Paris, in the Casino de Paris back then. Was pretty fun. It
was from old gaming, right?
Yeah. There's a really cool video of me dancing Gangnam Style with Chips and Noah from over there.
Okay.
If you guys want to go, you can go check it. It's called Gangnam Tales. But yeah, we beat it 2-0 in the semifinal. We basically outpicked them completely. Every champion that they prioritize, we not only banned the champions that they prioritize, but we also went and learned to play every single champion that they play. So we took every single thing that is priority for them and left them without champions, and that's how we won basically that semi-final. And then we faced Eclipsia back then with I'm So Fresh, Tabs, and so on, people that later on joined ROCCAT. And we won 2-1 over them in the final in a really big comeback in the last game. that's a really memorable thing for me, that final. After that, we went to MLGs and others. Couple of months later, we split up for different reasons, disagreements between the players and others. I joined Millennium, sadly over there for DDoSing and others. Like, we went to IEM and we made it out of the groups over LCS teams with Millennium. Shortly before that, with Millennium, we didn't qualify for the LCS. In the last match, we lost to Bjergsen. Bjergsen's team. Back then it was with Coutard, not with Bjergsen. He wasn't of age yet. We lost to them, didn't qualify to the LCS. We continued with Millennium, changed only one player. We went to IEM, where we basically that big game versus CG Entus in the quarterfinals, where we had 3 inhibitors up with AP Tryndamere, and they turned the game around and won it at the end. And they ended up going to final over Moscow 5 after that too. So basically that's Millennium. We got really DDoSed towards the end of the Millennium lineup. Was the big time for DDoSing back then. So we couldn't even qualify for the LAN qualifier of the LCS. Then I had a short stint with Mousesports, where I helped them just for one of the LCS qualifiers. We lost 3-2 to MOM, who qualified at the end for the LCS back then. Then I took a break of a couple of months, and then I started talking with the Polish people, which were KMT basically. With they had Super Ace and what was his name, the jungler, a Polish jungler, and they were playing together over there. They were decent, but they kept losing here and there. We went.
Did they approach you, or did you approach them?
They had a manager back then, but he had a fuck up or something like this, and I started chit-chatting with them. Okay, should I come in and directly take over, and we're gonna figure out something else and find the organization.
But how did you find out about them?
I don't remember, to be honest. Like
okay, keep going. I think that's the Yankee story.
We basically went to one of the IEMs again from ESL. I think it was Gamescom this time. And Riot had a qualifier for a couple of the top teams in the rankings or something like this, for the EULCS main qualifier, basically. We went over there, we placed second after Copenhagen Wolves. Copenhagen Wolves with Reckless, Coutard, and Young Buck, and I think even Amazing was with them back then, I don't remember exactly. We lost to them in the final. We were the second best team out of the LCS back then, almost for certain. And basically we lost to them. And after the event, we started preparing for DreamHack Bucharest. The night before DreamHack Bucharest, Super Ace and the jungler, they told us basically, yeah, we're not coming. We don't want to play with you guys anymore. You're not.
Super Ace was the ADC, or
Super Ace was the support. Basically, the lineup back then was holy shit. It's a really big old player. He played for Gambit, Polish jungler. How can you skip out of my mind?
By the way, Ocelot played for SK in World of Warcraft. I checked. You go on.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, they told us, we're not coming with you at all. Even though we leave in the morning, we were with H2K back then. Partnership with it was H2K KMT. They were just covering our LAN events to go to the events. So they told us the night before, we're not coming. And we've been looking to replace them for like a week or two. We wanted to do it after DreamHack Bucharest. I really liked Vander, who was just switching from ADC to support. So I spoke with the whole team, let's get Vander. And everyone was talking to me from the Polish guys. Jankus is the next big thing, the most important. Jankus back then was with another Polish team sponsored by an energy drink in Poland. So he, with Kikis and other people, if I remember right, back then, and he really didn't want to leave them because they were really good friends. and such. But I somehow convinced him. I don't remember how. So basically, from tonight till tomorrow morning, we booked them flights. We convinced them to come over, and we went to DreamHack Bucharest without any any practice or anything else, basically. And we went over there, and we actually stomped everyone. Like we went to the final with losing one single game for the whole tournament, and we even 2-0'd Copenhagen Wolves in the. It was Nikki. Nikki was the jungler, Sebastian Robak. And yeah, we went on to win DreamHack. We went to win the Poznan Games Week, the PGW, over MOM. And others, we went to win a lot of things with that lineup. Then right before the LCS online qualifier, we had a slump a little bit. Like we started disagreeing on stuff. Not everyone was trusting each other fully, and we got lucky. So we picked up Veggie as an online coach back then.
Was it the first time you got a coach for a team?
Yeah. We spoke with Veggie. Yeah. Like we had the idea that someone outside of the team, I don't remember even if it was my idea or the team's idea, and so on. I think I had an idea that we need someone to help us with the game, and they suggested and brought Veggie in. Pretty good decision. He helped us out. We barely qualified via the online qualifier. Basically, it was the last match that decided if we go through or not. Then we went to the LAN qualifier where we had to face NIP. No one believed we were going to be good or anything. H2K, old owner back then, disappeared, so we had no organization, we had nothing. We had a couple of offers with help before that. A proud moment. Right before that, we lost the final to SK Gaming, where it started the big SK curse towards ROCCAT after that. Freddy's really proud of that, so I have to mention it. So yeah, basically we went over there. We picked up KO right before the match. Literally, we played it in a warm-up versus TSM. We didn't want to.
So how did that come about?
We didn't want to show the picks. We had a warm-up before the match with TSM, and we knew now TSM, because of Bjergsen being over there, he just moved, and so on. We're really close with the NIP people, so we didn't want anyone to leak to them. So basically, we played throw picks in the scrims versus TSM. One of those throw picks was Kale, who ended up suddenly being super strong. So Overpower is like...
Okay, so the online... Okay, sorry, but the online qualifier was in the US?
No, the online qualifier was in Europe and everything. The LAN qualifier was in the Cologne studio. During the same time, there was the... not Rift Rivals, but the thing before Rift Rivals, where you had teams from Europe compete versus teams in NA. Only one match.
Okay, so TSM was in Europe.
Yes, TSM was in Europe for that tournament. We scrimmed them as a warm-up, and we picked up Kale. We picked up Kale. And Overpower is like, oh shit, he's actually good. Let's play him. And as we saw, he 1v2'd people. With it,
so thanks TSM.
we 3-0'd NIP. We qualified over there. We couldn't believe what's happening. Actually, I was.
Okay, can you tell like what the lineup was from NIP so people know it was it was an all-star team?
Already, right? It was all-star team. It was SK's old jungler, the French one. I forgot the name right now. Then you have
Kikubot.
Hikibot, Hirakubot. Then you have Zoro Zero top lane, which was coming from Lemon Dogs, who just came back from Worlds. Then you had Nuke Duck, who's coming back from Worlds just right now. And then you had Freeze and Mitty. I don't even need to discuss those two. They were top tier teams. Mitty was just at Worlds coming back. Freeze was the up and coming talent. Everyone, ADC, and so on. We stomped them. Like Jankos and Overpower just suffocated them basically. The Physio was the manager. He mentioned it last week. He mentioned it last week when he was talking about Jankos' story in the podcast and so on. The Physio was their manager, so he didn't make the right choices back then.
So that's why he hates us so much.
Yes. I guess. The hate from his side is quite real.
Yeah, but that's probably one of the biggest upset in league history, or not?
I wouldn't say the biggest one, but it was pretty big. Like no one.
Yeah, because it was not that significant.
Yeah. Everyone expected them to 3-0 us. Yeah.
Yes. Like nobody knew the players from KMT.
Yep.
So okay, so you qualified, and how did you end up in ROCCAT?
Stop typing, man.
sorry.
Do you need to Google how you got into ROCCAT?
Yes, of course.
What are you doing there?
We got a couple of offers, and ROCCAT was basically a stable company, German company that we deemed to be the easiest to work with. Like they were matching all the other offers that we had, and they just havocked like stability. They had old gamers, old school, and everything. It was actually a company, which was really important for us. It wasn't a gaming organization. Back then, a lot of people actually promised stuff that they didn't deliver at the end. So we went with ROCCAT. And
also, we had a good track record, right, in esports with CS.
Yeah, but it was like years before that. Like you haven't had a team for a while. You had the StarCraft player back then, and that was it. And we joined as the second esports title. Back then, we joined ROCCAT, and everything else is a history. Now, really short version of the ROCCAT thing, because I've been repeating it lately quite a lot in different interviews, not to repeat myself. Basically, we went with the full Polish lineup. Veggie joined us shortly into the split. We started really good. We finished fourth in the regular season, and then third.
I think third.
Fourth in the regular season, and third in the playoffs. We lost the semifinal versus SK, and then we won the third place decider versus EG back then.
Did we ever win a game against SK?
No, I don't think so. We won.
I don't think we won like once.
One single best of one. I believe the end of that split, if I'm not wrong, when it actually didn't matter that much at all. It didn't matter for the standings. Then we placed sixth in summer split. We had a little bit slow middle split, so we lost a lot of games over there. We placed sixth. Then we destroyed Super Hot Crew 3-1, I believe. No one expected it, and then we went on to Gamescom. For World Championship, we faced Fnatic in the semi-final, and we barely lost 3-2 who goes to Worlds. Then sadly we had to face SK, which it's SK versus ROCCAT.
But it was clear before. So that was the first time where I saw like esports.
Really?
Yeah, I joined the company between the splits.
Yeah, he joined a little bit after or something around that time. I was before TN, before Reddit guy on the team.
So he's longer on ROCCAT.
There must have been a really exciting time because all was so new, and the name ROCCAT wasn't known in those times for a professional esports team, right?
Yes, it was.
It was. They had Counter-Strike, Source, StarCraft, and everything else before that. They had teams before that.
We had a huge CS team.
Plus ROCCAT was a main sponsor of MTW because Rene owned both of them. So
MTW is like one of the most famous.
So you were not building it from zero, but it was.
The name.
But of course, it was a big success.
In League of Legends, like we came out of nowhere. No one expected us to be there.
Yeah.
Then in between the splits, we decided we go international. We removed Zasus and Celever. We got Woolite and Nukeduck. Overpower went to top lane. We went into the next season, that's season 5, I believe. We went into as favorites as an SK, who's gonna be the best team, and so on. Sadly, a lot of people choked back then. Coaching was new, so we were confused. So we had a really bad split. We went to relegation, even though we were one of the favorites. We had 90 to 95% win ratio in scrims. Like we couldn't lose in scrims. Basically, and then we go on stage and we lose every game, basically. And then we switched overpower top lane because the roll slap didn't work for him. We switched him to Steve. We went into summer split. We kept still with Woolite as an ADC, but he kept doing the Woolite thing. Just we're leading, destroying the game, and then he goes middle and trolls the game. Happened a little bit too often. Those two splits, so we went with Mr. Rallis over Woolite, and after that we won most of the games. The only bad games we had is we lost to Unicorns 3-2 in the quarterfinals, and then we went to beat Copenhagen Wolves in the promotion tournament, the third slot basically for Worlds, and then the big match versus Origin. That's my biggest regret for losing that match in my career, is basically we were leading 2-1, we threw the fourth game, and then the fifth game they beat us because they completely outbanned us and so on.
We also broke the win streak, right?
Yeah. We lost 3-2 to them. That's when Yamato came with us. He came shortly before that split, basically. It was the first split with Yamato. We picked him up from... who did we pick him from? From MOM. When they got relegated, and so on. Yamato was working with us already. We lost to Origin 3-2, and they went to Worlds to go to semi-finals versus SKT and lose to SKT. So it was really regret because I felt that lineup, if we went to Worlds, we would have actually done quite serious damage at Worlds. We wouldn't have been only tourists.
Yeah, I think that team, if we would have kept it together, I think it would have done
but big money came in back then, so we couldn't compete for all the players. We lost Yamato, we lost Nukeduck, we lost Jankos and Vander. We had 1 week to rebuild. The next year we basically rebuilt everything from the scratch. It was test and trial. Basically that year we had Edward from Gambit and so on, but during visa stuff in Germany we couldn't keep him. We kept switching players. We went twice to relegation. Nightmares.
Okay, I think that's enough for the history lesson. Let's talk about you a little bit as a team manager. What kind of duties do you have?
It's really like, me as a manager is not as the other managers and so on, because I'm not solely responsible for managing the team. I actually work in the team ROCCAT on a lot of the other things, including business promotion and such. So it's really complicated. I do basically, right now it's me and Johannes and basically TN for social media that full-time work on the TN is not even full-time with Team ROCCAT. That's the people that basically work. I have Hannah right now this year as my assistant to help me out over here in Berlin, but we do basically everything around the organization, so it's really hard to say and summarize it shortly what I do. It's basically me and Johannes versus the world right now.
Okay. Johannes is our general manager and you are the team manager. What is the difference between the both of you?
Basically, I'm hands-on. Who plays for us, negotiations with players, where do we live, how do we live, and all those things. I basically live with the team while Johannes is in Hamburg and Cologne, traveling in between and coming only from time to time over here.
So you live and you sleep in the gaming house in Berlin?
No. We
have
have me, Freddy, and Hannah. We have our own place, while the players with the gaming room have their place.
All right. The management. So you don't sleep with the players. So
I cuddle them to bed sometimes to go to sleep, but I don't sleep with them. No, not anymore.
Did you have a burger in your bed?
That was Cologne times.
All right, Fly. Let's talk about recent stuff. What's going on? What's up to date with the team, with ROCCAT? Because it's the last weekend now.
Hopefully not
for the playoffs.
Hopefully not.
Okay. Hopefully we have a couple of more weeks. I think.
So you need to go into playoffs.
We have to. We have to. Yeah. We're gonna. Everyone is doing their best. And everyone really wants it. Like this year compared to last year's, we have really self-sufficient, really good and mature team. Like North Korean aside,
really professional.
No, just kidding. We have a really good team that has actually shown how hungry they are to win. Like, you give criticism to those people, they give each other a S-ton of criticism to each other. They even, to a point, almost flaming each other, and everyone accepts and learns from that criticism. And so, like, it's amazing how much those people want it. And so, like, I haven't had a team that deserves more success than those 5 people that we have right now. I don't have. It's one of my easiest and most enjoyable splits until now that I've had.
Really?
Yeah. The most professional team.
They're just so easy to work with.
By far.
They're mature. They're grown up, and they think. They think. A lot of players don't think. Like, no offense to my old players and everything. Like, they're not bad at all. It's just they weren't as grown up as the people that we have right now.
And also they work great as a team.
Yeah. They communicate, and they don't have that. That's the thing. They don't have the egos previous people and other players in Europe also have. Like, they don't have the ego to say, hey, that's not true, I'm not doing this mistake. They actually listen. Even if they don't agree, they listen out before they give their point. We haven't had a fight,
I mean, we had so many hours of talks about this. You remember, Fly, when I was there for 2 weeks? Like, how important character is and how important all 5 together think alike, outside of the game as well, so they can mesh. And I think this is the perfect example of what I was talking about back in the days.
Let's talk about best case and worst case, Fly. What happens if you manage to enter the playoffs this weekend? And what happens if you don't?
If we manage to enter, we play the playoffs. If we don't enter, we don't play the playoffs.
That's what I was gonna say. That's the worst and best case.
No, I mean, what happens in the house? What happens with the players?
If we make playoffs, we continue playing and training and everything. We're gonna be fighting to go and try to go to Copenhagen. That's the ultimate goal. Go to Copenhagen and play in the arena and everything. If for some reason, hopefully that doesn't happen, of course, we don't go playoffs. We're just gonna take a little bit break, 2-3 weeks, and after that reassess and come back to Berlin and start prepping for summer split.
So everyone is flying home?
Everyone is gonna go home,
You
rest
too?
a little bit and everything. No, what is home? No, we have a lot of work around the organization right now that can be left undone. So
You should come to Hamburg for that. Then. You can work from here in the office. We have a lot of space. might do actually. Do that, man.
Yep. So yeah, like right now, goal is playoffs, and we're just thinking like, as Freddie said the other day, is we're not looking. We have to win those matches, or we have to make playoffs. Instead, our view right now on the matches is we want to go into the matches, play them, and when you turn around and look at that week that just happened and this split is. So we want to say we have no regrets. Okay. We did what we could. To do it, look at the summer split. At the end, this lineup was built for long term and developing. We don't have superstar in every single position like some other teams, so it takes time to build a team out of basically 5 people that haven't played that much together, even though they've been on different teams together. Freddie has a completely different coaching stuff to the people that they've worked with before that, so it's molding people in what it should be. So our main goal is summer. So,
but I think you can say Northgren is one of the top performing supports right now, or not?
Yeah, same for Blank. In statistics and everything, Blank is one of the best mid laners. Yeah, Hickey is one of the most consistent people. Prophet is one of the most underrated top laners. And Memento is showing up quite big on stage.
Yeah.
Gilius can tell you if you want. You can ask him.
How happy are you with the progress so far in the season?
I'm pretty happy. Like, I think we could have been even better until now. Mm-hmm. But you can't put it over the boys. Like,
and what's the ceiling
trying
for this
their
team?
hardest. I actually think, and I never predict that since for the last 2 years in Zero, but I actually think that we can be a top 4 team with a little bit fight. I think Misfits, Fnatic, G2, okay, top 5. Misfits, Fnatic, G2, Splice, and us can be the top teams, and so on. Like,
but Misfits is like really slumping right now, right?
Yeah, they're really slumping right now. So I don't know. Like,
but I mean,
for them, it's.
I mean, most people think they were always good, but they were never good in regular season. Like this one split where they ever been good. Everyone just sees them like going 5 games against SKT.
So let's hope we take their playoff spot, so that way we can see if they're actually good or not in playoffs.
Also, you have to take revenge for the last spring split. Because
we have to show we have to make it into playoffs and face Vitality to try and but to show them that we're not good only in best of ones. It wasn't a random win.
I mean, we should have won both games, to be honest.
Oh, according to Gilius, we're not good, so.
Okay, but yeah.
So we have to see. We have to see in a best of 5.
But Misfits, can you beat Misfits, please, for spring split last split?
Not gonna predict anything for those matches. Fnatic. Not gonna predict anything. Not jinxing it.
Oh, come on, man.
But we really keep our fingers crossed for you, and we really hope to continue with that podcast in the next week, talking about the playoffs.
Let's hope so. Yeah. Let's hope so.
Fly, thank you very much for the interview. I'm pretty sure that we will talk again in this podcast because, in fact, you just answered 2 of our questions. we prepared like 6 big questions for you, and we were talking about 2 of them in a very interesting way for over an hour.
But he covered some of them.
Yeah, but he covered some of them. But we will meet again, all right?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Tien, you're stuck with me. You have no way of going out with me.
Thank you, Fly, and see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
He has a lot to tell.
Yeah, it's Fly.
It's Fly. Tien, do you remember when you met him first?
First time, when was that? It might have been Gamescom. Like, in person, I think it was Gamescom. And it was awesome, man. It was like, we were like in Hall 8, and they built the arena in the same hall. And we played at that stage. It was awesome, and we went with the soldiers, from Gamescom. We always have.
At the Gamescom we always have like Türsteher in English.
Bouncers,
like bouncers, like soldier bouncers.
Yeah, because we have a lot of influencers on the stage, and they get like rushed by the fans. But what we did back then was to get merch, and we threw it around in the arena. Oh, let me think. Oh yeah, that was the first time I met him, I think. But yeah, the most memorable one is, I think, when we went to IEM Cologne, which was the awesome event. I loved it. I'm really sad that it's not here anymore. Whereas, like, it's not a big arena. It's more like our office, And everyone is really close, like the fans and the players and stuff like that. And we went there with Overpow, Yankos, Rio, because Nuke Duck was still banned, I think, and we couldn't use him. Woolite and Vander. And yeah, that was an awesome event because you got in contact with like players like Double Lift and stuff like that.
Nice. Awesome. In Hamburg, where we sit right now, you would call him a Schnacker. Someone who really knows how to talk to people and to convince them and do stuff.
I don't know if he knows, but
this guy, as a poor kid in a Bulgarian little town in an internet cafe, he managed to find sponsors for an esports team and stuff like that. Yeah, it's amazing.
If you think about it, he's the longest lasting team manager in the LCS team.
Is he?
Yes.
Wow.
Because it's such a stress to be with the players, man.
He's
like kindergarten, Like you're like a kindergarten teacher.
He's like an esports grandpa. He's like the Gandalf of esports.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Gandalf is so fucking old.
He's not old.
Yeah, he's not old, but compared to many others, he has a lot of experience. All right, you can be part of that show. if you give us your feedback via hashtag ESPORTS ROCSTARS, or if you give us an iTunes rating. And we have a new iTunes rating from Hungary, from the user Gbor020, 5 stars. He writes, or she writes, "Holy ship, ROCCAT podcast. I'm amazed that you guys started a podcast too. I have just ordered the Cone IMO before going to play some matches in LoL. Then I see you guys posted this on Twitter. Wow, sorry fanboyism taken over me. Anyway, if you happen to read this, I have only one wish. Make keyboards with Hungarian layout again, please." Yeah. Okay, that's it. Follow ROCCAT on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Give us the iTunes rating, questions and feedback via hashtag esports rockstars. Listen to this show via YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, or in the podcast app of your choice. Okay, Jen and Fred say bye-bye.
Bye.